This video is for showing my friends here this here guitar. Now, this thing's very precious to me. I'll tell you the story behind it. The story is more impressive, I think, than the guitar, because I'm not much of a player or picker. I sound like a frog when I sing. So, anyhow, my mom had this cousin, and he died about a year before my dad did. So it's all still kind of like fuzzy in my mind what exactly all happened here. So I went through a lot that year, but I do remember this, because even when my mom's cousin died, my dad said to me, he said, yeah, he says, he must have thought a lot of you to give you his guitar. And he's like, it's not that expensive of a guitar, so, I kind of assumed it wasn't, until recently I showed it to this old boy, and he said to me, he says, that's about a 50, 60-year-old guitar. He said, it's Bavarian made. He said, I've never heard of the name. He says, let me pick it up. So this was actually on my birthday this happened. This guy picked this up and he said, you've got a really nice guitar here. He said, put lighter strings on it, and he's telling me all the stuff to do. But anyhow, my mom's cousin had this guitar, and I left pretty much just like he had it. The only thing I changed on it, I put a little strap on here with the praying hands, and the thing here from his funeral. This John Forney, and yeah, John was somebody that he was a man that he's a big man. Obviously, you see me holding this guitar, it makes me look small, and I am small. But John was about 6'5", and he wore this big 10-gallon hat, and he looked like Hoss Cartwright. So when John came to me this one day, he was at my grandmother's, and he said to me, so he taught himself how to play. He never knew chords, never knew any of that. He actually never even learned how to read or write. He had a very tough life, and he had his leg amputated, so he came to me and he said, hey, can you help me get some of these songs published? He says, I've got these here gospel songs. And so John did all gospel music. Actually was pretty well known for it. So I'm thinking, this is a guy that's illiterate. This is a guy that doesn't have much of a formal education. I'll do it for you, but I'm not expecting his great music. So I'm sitting there, and all of a sudden, John comes up and he sings me one of the songs on his guitar here, and I was blown away. I tell you what, I was totally blown away. And I looked at the lyrics, because he had someone write them down for him, and it was just like the most beautiful gospel music I'd ever heard. And even the lyrics were just perfect, and it brought a tear to my eye, because it made me think, even now looking at this guitar, just how John wrote. And yeah, it's called a Framus. I've never heard of it. I'm sure it's not like a Gibson. It's not a extremely expensive guitar. I love the wood. Man, I need to clean that up. Got something on it. But it's just, the wood is just all pine. I mean, it's like a mahogany, I believe, or something. I know this is a rosewood mahogany. But it's just the way it's fingerboard curvature on it like that. It's got all the bells and whistles you'd ever want in a guitar. So I kind of want to show you why I love this guitar so much. And I don't have a pick, but John was the type of guy, he made his own picks. He'd take a snuff can or an old credit card, like the old timers did that. They'd make their own picks. But it just has, I'm not going to play any notes, but you can do that. I used to know a little blues I'd play on this, and I took this to work one day, and there's this old black man that was working, and he was working in a different house than me, and I had this guitar, and I'm doing the blues scale on it. That's all I was doing. I wasn't doing anything all that great. And he he said to me, he says, because we were in two houses, I had to watch the one house, he had to watch the other house. And I said, I just hope I wasn't too loud. I was just playing around, showing the kids the guitar. And he said, you can play pretty good. And I said, no, I can't play it good at all. I said, I don't take the time to actually pick it up as often as I'd like to. And he said to me, he says, now you were doing that. He says, I could do better with a pick. It's tough to do it just freehand. And he says, you were doing that. And he says, everybody that's good says they're not that good. And I said, no, I'm not that good. But this has old strings. These strings are probably 5, 6 years old. And I always keep them loose. You know, I always keep these tuners loose. And I don't play around with it that much, so because I don't want the neck to warp. So it's kind of like the strings, probably a new set of lighter strings. It's even for that, it's still a good tone, as you can hear. I'm used to my Martin, and I've been trying to learn the ukulele, so it's gone from 4 to 6 to. I'm all screwed up tonight, but this guitar here has some history here, and I love it. Love this thing. Reminds me of John, and what a wonderful gift, what a wonderful guitar, and what a wonderful memory of a person that had it. And, well, there you go.